Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 28 of our Journeyman series here in Football Coach College Dynasty. In case you haven't seen the news, Fresno State, we are national champions in the 2032 season, went 15 and 2, 8 and 1 in conference, won our conference championship, and then went on a 4-game run in the playoffs to secure the trophy. If you did not watch episode 27, I highly recommend you do so. There's a lot of really good playoff games in here. As you can see, all of them, with the exception of the Stanford game, was a one, possession game. Really, really close. Set aside some time, go ahead and watch it. Um, Overall on the season, and this is something I said as we were kind of going through it, 3 overtime loss to Maryland. That is what it is. Our kicker missed 3 field goals. The loss to Air Force was really the thing that kind of hurt our playoff chances a bit, to the point where I didn't even think we'd be able to make the playoffs. But last we did, and we went on a really good run here, and were able to, have the greatest accomplishment in this game. As far as a coach goes, that was also our 100th victory, which is kind of crazy. We are now 6-0 in conference championship games, 2-3 in bowl games, but 5-3 in the playoffs, and then 1-0 in our national championship games. If in case anyone is curious, that gives you 1,000 points on legacy score. So that will do. Before we get on to the business of the day, I do want to take a look at our coaching tree because we do have a couple of former coordinators who have gone on to be head coaches. Just talk about them. Oscar Stahl, who I talked about, who had Kent State not offered him the job when I left, he was going to be my offensive coordinator again. And as you can see, didn't have the greatest first couple seasons, but then went 12-2, lost the bowl game, but 8-5 with the bowl win. And then this past year, they won their conference championship game. So safe to say, Oscar is going to be at Kent State for as long as they'll have him. And then Chase Rodriguez, who was our offensive coordinator when we left for Fresno State, he's been at North Texas. It's not been great for him. 3-9 record each the past 2 seasons. Whoever his defensive coordinator is should be fired immediately. They're third last and second to last in points allowed, so that's obviously bad. At the moment, he still has the job, but might not be for long. And then the big one, obviously, is a Frank Keller, who was our defensive coordinator for 6 years. He just got hired at Virginia Tech, so we will see how he does there. So overall, we'll see on how our coordinators do. Caleb Monroe, obviously, is still our offensive coordinator. Hayden Madrano is the kind of miss. He was our defensive coordinator at the start of the save, and as you can tell, I think I made the correct decision not bringing him back after his contract expired. So, enough about coaches. Let us now take a look at the business of today. For this video, we're going to be doing 2 things. One, kind of saying goodbye, sunsetting our graduating seniors, of which we have quite a few key impact guys. We'll get through the transfer portal. I am planning a minor roster shakeup. I spent a little bit of time this weekend going through the roster, going through the recruiting stuff, and just figuring out kind of what I want to do. Since we do have a not insignificant amount of players that want to transfer. So we'll get through that, and then I will do the transfer portal period where we won't have a lot of needs per se, but I think depth is going to be an issue at some positions. And then I'll do a little bit of recruiting, get that started, and then I think finish that off stream. So this video might be one of the shorter, hour and a half ones as opposed to the 2-hour bonanzas. But we'll see how that goes nonetheless. So, first things first, our graduating seniors. We have 11 seniors graduating. I would say 8 of which key contributors. Firstly, we must discuss Rylan Newman. Um, I think one of the kind of what if questions of this save is what if we get a full season out of Rylan? Obviously, he missed 4 games in the middle of the season due to injury. And even though he missed those 4 games, 67% completion percentage, 3,600 yards, 31 touchdowns, 3 picks, a couple rushing touchdowns to boot. Like, imagine if he gets 4 more games. He gets 4,000 yards easy, potentially close to 40 touchdowns. It could have been one of the great seasons in this save. Um, I mean, he was tremendous. Mountain West QB of the year, first team All Mountain West QB. And I was looking through his game log, and really, like, if you go through it, he didn't have a bad game. Like, with exception of the Illinois game, I would say, where he flirted with 50% completion, 208 yards, touchdown pick. Outside of that, like, he had great games. I mean, 3 touchdowns against Cal, 3 against Stanford, 2 against Tennessee. Just overall phenomenal performances. It's kind of a shame, and I don't know of an easy way to fix this in the game, but like if you look at his attributes when he was at Bama, he never really got any development because he never played. And it was only when he went to San Diego State, got in a little bit, is when his ratings started to go up. I would like to see a world where the AI at Bama, after let's say his redshirt freshman year, they identify the fact they're like, okay, this guy he's not developing great. Let's just cut him loose and let another team sign him. Because effectively, like he didn't play. For like his entire 4-year college career, he never played, and he only got his little bit of snaps here. So I would like the AI maybe to cut their losses on players if they're not developing well. Because Rylan, would have been a good guy for that. We're not losing any running backs to graduation. We're gonna lose some. Anyway, wide receiver Edward Boyle. I mean, it must be said. I think Edward Boyle could have been a great wide receiver, but he got kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit. Um, he was, second team All Mountain West wide receiver a couple times, Mountain West Returner of the Year. He was our return man for some of this season. Then I moved him off of it. I think he's a fine wide receiver. In his 2 years, he kind of started for us, 520, 650 yards, good for 5 touchdowns a year. Nothing too crazy. I think the downside of me recruiting like 3 great wide receivers in the same year is that inevitably 1 or 2 of them isn't going to get, all that many reps. But I think Edward Boyle, especially the last 2 years, done really well for himself. We are not losing any tight ends to graduation. Offensive line, Rocco Walton's the big one. He was Mountain West Offensive Lineman of the Year, first team All Mountain West, third team All American. And when we went through the All American awards, he had more pancakes than some of the guys on the second team, but he gave up 4 sacks, which that's the reason why. Rocco, I mean, he really only played, his last 2 years here. He's a guy that I think just his development exploded. Like he's getting 4, 2 overall, and then all of a sudden he gets 10 overall better, just explodes onto the scene, doing really, really good these last 2 years. And then the other O lineman we're losing is Edwin Gill, who, similar idea, didn't really play that much until this year. And this year actually didn't have a great year. Gave up 10 sacks on the year, still had 18 pancakes. But, giving up double-digit sacks is kind of rough. Kicker, we're not losing anybody. Defensive line. This hurts. We lose Parker Williamson. Those of you that have been watching this save for a little bit, back in the 2029 season, his redshirt freshman year, he had a stretch where he just got a couple sacks, like 4 tackles for loss in 2 games. He was on fire. And then from then, he just got really good production for us. Unfortunately, the past two seasons, he only got one total sack, three pressures. So that part's a little bit disappointing. But overall, I think he played pretty well. Did miss 5 weeks this season with a injury. So that kind of hurt his production a little. But overall, dependable, solid defensive lineman, will definitely be missed. Secondly is Luke Butler, who was a backup for 2 years and a starter for 2 years, and I thought quietly was one of our best performing defensive players, period. Double digit tackles for loss, 8 sacks each season, 26 pressures last year, 34 pressures this year. Got a forced fumble, made first team All Mountain West D line. He's kind of an under the radar guy that similarly, I mean, his development just exploded. His block shedding went up from a 77 as a recruit to 115 now. Really great defensive lineman that I'm so happy that it worked out for him. Linebacker. We're losing Bryson Cook, who, as discussed, I had to pay him $4 million to get him. Then I had to pay him $1.5 million to stay for his junior season, and then obviously I promised that he would make all conference. He didn't. I thought he should have. In my opinion, if you're good enough to make, Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year, Linebacker of the Year, first team All Mountain West linebacker, have double-digit tackles for a loss, double-digit pressures, couple sacks, like, I feel like you should make it. But he's just great. I mean, listen, was he worth the 5.5 million we paid for him? Maybe. I don't know. But when you look at the accolades, he was the best linebacker in the Mountain West for almost the entirety of his time here. He got much better in coverage as the years went on, which was good. Didn't have any turnovers this year, which is probably the reason he doesn't make the All-American team. But, I mean, on the short list for the best defensive players we have had. The other two linebackers we're losing are more depth guys. Cody Bailey ran into the unfortunate situation where my linebacker room got better this year, and so he kind of dropped a bit. His junior year, I mean, 40 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, a sack, nothing to sniff at. But then this season, he just saw much less percent of snaps. Did good in coverage, still got a sack, couple pressures, but overall production is down, which is to be expected when you get especially younger guys coming in. Similar situation to Dylan Pugh. He was just, backup depth guy his whole career here. Got better in coverage again, which is one of the reasons why I dropped him his junior year, but no complaints. Corner. This I feel like it's going to hurt more than I anticipate. We're losing Braden Reyes, who was Mountain West Freshman of the Year, first team All Mountain West corner. Really good corner, especially his junior year, where he only allowed 45% completion. Never really a huge turnover guy, only 2 picks his entire career, but completion percentage I think was solid. And the other thing we're going to lose when we lose Reyes is his zone coverage ability. We don't have a lot of guys that can play zone at the moment, which will explain why I move a guy a position here in a second. The other corner we're losing is Caden Bowers, who part of me thinks I should have cut him after his redshirt year. The genuine reason I didn't is I thought he would develop better, and he just didn't. I mean, from the time I got him his JUCO year, his tackling only went up by 1 and 2 development hits. His man coverage did not move. His IQ only went up by 1. His zone coverage is what exploded, went from a 70 to an 81. But, I mean, his speed only went up by 1. He just did not develop. He had A- potential. He started it with an A+. He just didn't develop. And that was so infuriating to me because I had envisioned him being this really good, like, coverage, safety sort of hybrid. Never panned out. I played him at safety his first year. He got a tackle for a loss and a pick. This past year, he was a depth corner, got a pick. Shrug. I think that this one honestly does annoy me. because I don't know why he didn't develop well, but that is what it is. And then safeties, we're not losing anyone. So all in all, we are losing 11 players. I think, with exception of Bailey, Pugh, and Bowers, all of them, high impact guys that can have trouble replacing. So this is where we stand after losing the seniors in terms of offensive and defensive talent. The two things that take the biggest hit, obviously, pass protection with the two O linemen graduating, and then QB. So let us advance and get to the players transferring, because this is going to get spicy really quick. So I think last I checked, there was 8 players that wanted to transfer. I could be wrong. Not my frames. It is crazy how consistent it is with like certain advances just crashing and burning. Loading. Here we are. 10. Okay, so maybe I shortchanged it a little bit. Okay, so let's get through this position by position since we have so many players that want to transfer. First, quarterback. Both Christian Campbell and Jason Walters want to leave. This is very simple. Jason Walters is obviously gone. Um, he's not too get out of here. Jason Walters, you know, really the only reason I recruited him is I wanted to see how a run first QB would develop. And the answer is pretty much how I thought, where his speed goes up a decent amount, ball carrier vision goes up a decent amount, arm strength goes up, accuracy not great, IQ even worse. So we're definitely gonna let Jason walk. Christian Campbell, I am going to make him the starter next season. I think it is much simpler than going for the transfer portal to try to bring somebody in. His potential isn't good, so his ratings right now is probably what I'm going to get. But he's a running QB, which really helps our option game. He's got really good arm strength. IQ is fine. The only worry is the 77 accuracy. But even if that goes up by 3, we're okay. I'm not wholly against bringing in a backup QB because, Keith Fields and Khalil Maloney are not really ready to play. But it could be a scenario where I just bring in somebody. Okay, running back. No one wants to transfer. However, I need to cut someone because one of, I think, the weaknesses this year, even though obviously we won the whole thing, is that our running game just was not up to snuff. Part of that is because Daniel Tucker was our starter, and don't get me wrong, he's really good. I don't know if he's like starter top echelon quality guy, especially compared to what we're used to having. So I am going to cut one of Nehemiah Brewer, Samuel Pankey, Moises Myers, and then bring in another running back in the transfer portal. Of the 3, I think Samuel Pankey is safe because he's a redshirt freshman as opposed to redshirt sophomore, which Tucker, Brewer, and Myers all are. So at that point, it's between Moises and Brewer. I'm going to cut Nehemiah Brewer. It seems harsh because, he's coming off 2 years ago. He was first team all freshman running back, got 10 touchdowns, averaged nearly 5 yards a carry. However, this year, it must be said, he was bad. Like outside of week 1, 6 carries, 41 yards, and a touchdown, he did not have a good game. Like even against UNLV where he got his touchdown, he averaged like 3.2 yards a carry. I think this is an easy spot where we can kind of clean up the running back room a little bit, bring in a transfer guy, and then Pankey and Moises can be that, 3rd, 4th running back set. So I am going to cut Nehemiah Brewer. he just deserves to get playing time elsewhere. And right now, he's our fourth running back before I even bring somebody in. That also does free up opportunities for Lane Olson and Abraham Barrett, but let's be frank, neither of them are really gonna, move the needle for us. Wide receiver. Okay, Gary Guerrero wants to leave. I'm gonna let him. Um, I think he's a really good wide receiver, but also his catching is a 77. And look, Giovanni Boyle and Jason McDonald's going to be our 1-2. Preston Diallo is going to get a lot of reps. Jared Wells is going to get a lot of reps. So right now, Guerrero is our sixth wide receiver. 25 targets. I mean, Huber didn't even get 19. I think we're going to let Guerrero go. He is a good, he's got good ratings. He's got really good potential. I think, though, we have especially have good enough depth behind him that we can afford to let him go. Tight end. Okay, so this is where things get a little interesting. Ibrahim Jean, who is a JUCO that I redshirted. My issue that I have run into is I am going to move Jean to O lineman. What that also means is he is not going to get the 20 targets that he wants because he's going to be at O line. Similarly, I mean, Keith Montgomery, I already know I'm letting walk. Um, that is done. Gene, though, I'm gonna pay him 1.4 million, and he's gonna move to O line. Like that just needs to happen. He's already got good numbers. He might take a little bit of a ratings nerf because of his size, but yeah. And then Keith Montgomery, we're gonna let go. He was always pretty much our third or fourth tight end. Got a handful of yards here, there, a couple touchdowns, so we're gonna let him go. Offensive line, the only person that wants to leave is Logan Pike. I am going to let him. His run blocking of a 67 is just hurtful. And I have guys around him like Bobby Logan, Gavin Fowler, even Brian Savage that, if they develop well, could overtake him anyway. So yeah, Pike's gonna go. And then I don't think I'm gonna cut anyone in the back end. I am gonna cut Armando Buckley because realistically his ratings are never gonna be there where he's gonna play a lot. I'm keeping Yair Jeffries because he has A+ potential, and why not? But this is going to be the rare year where I don't bring in any transfer O linemen. Our top 5 guys did really, really well last season. The depth needs to play. So, kicker, I am cutting Garrett Allison, who was our third kicker last year. Boston's going to be our starter next season. Muhammad Langston's going to be the backup, and Nathan Locke is the kicker of the future. No real reason to keep Allison. Defensive line, Rodolfo Horn wants to leave. I am obviously going to let him. No shot he gets the 40% of snaps of the play time. Like I have I had Kenneth Allison, the JUCO guy, who's going to overtake him. Eli Wynn did really, really well last season. Landon Montestioca deserves reps. Get him out of here. D-line, similarly, I don't think is a pressing need in the transfer portal. Linebacker. Okay. So what is extremely annoying to me is Edwin Cole wanted 30% of snaps. As you can see, he got 29%. I am going to pay him the money as opposed to promise him snaps because depending on how Hugo Patrick looks, Cole might be the fourth guy, he might be the fifth guy. But Cody Sylvester likely won't play all that much. So, Gunn, Thompson, Patrick / Cole, and then Sylvester. I think that's okay. We have a lot of young guys with good potential that need to get good development because I am losing 3 linebackers. So I need that to help somewhere. Matthew Burke on the back end, I'm going to go ahead and cut. 65 overall, C plus potential. Eh. Like, I know he just redshirted, but I need to free up, scholarship spots somewhere. And that's a pretty easy way of going about doing that. That brings us to corner. So Corey Neal wants to leave. I am going to let him. And on surface level, it seems like a poor decision because I got 1 year left of Cody, Wren, and Foster, and then there's a big drop off if I lose Neal to a guy like Damian Reynolds who can't play zone, can't tackle, Roman Knapp who can tackle and he can cover man, but he's not that quick. My solution to this issue lies in the safety position. I am going to convince Zaragoza to stay. I'm going to pay him his money, and I'm going to move him to corner. Because A, it gives me a zone specialist. B, it gives me someone who can tackle. And C, it helps bridge that gap from Foster to Reynolds. And on balance, I would rather keep Zaragoza over Corey Neal. At that point, then, I don't think corner is that much of an issue, in my humble opinion. Um, I would like to bring in though maybe a depth safety or maybe Tristan Miller just gets some run. The walk, nah, I should cut him. I really should. Oh, he's a walk on, so he doesn't have a scholarship. That's why the number didn't change. I was very confused there. So those are my cuts as things stand at the moment. Am I forgetting someone? Oh yes. I had written down to cut Tyrone Pace. I think I'll do so. Because that brings me to what? 11 linebackers? Yeah, that's fine. Maybe I keep Burke. Like, his ratings now aren't bad. He just can't cover. I'll keep Burke around. I've changed my mind. So we're losing 11 players, 6 that are transferring, 5 that are being cut. That leaves me with 6 scholarship spots, which is fine. I think team needs wise, QB, I think we need a backup QB. Running back, I would like to bring in somebody to pair with Daniel. Um, Probably a power back since I don't have one of those, outside of Lane Olson who fumbled in his 4 carries of action. Wide receiver, we're fine. Tight end, we are fine. It's going to be Wilder 1, Kelly at 2, Davin 1, Jermaine Pugh can fight it out for that third spot. Montgomery leaves. We salute. And Gene goes to O-line, which will help there. Don't need a kicker. Don't need a D lineman. I don't think we need a linebacker. I mean, Hugo Patrick already is a great pass rusher. Edwin Cole is solid behind him. I think that's a fine top 5. Yeah. And then corner, I similarly think we're okay. I mean, it's going to be those 3, Zaragoza at 4. And then, if Roman Knapp is our 5th corner, I think we're okay. I will, however, put a question mark in case we see a corner that's really tempting. So we only have 6 scholarship spots, which isn't that many. We do have, it should be noted, 2. Oh, yeah, Phillips coming in. Then I don't need a backup QB. What am I saying? I forgot. We are getting Philip Cato in, who is going to redshirt and then potentially be our starter. Um, if Christian Campbell doesn't work out, Andrew T is just your classic depth linebacker. So in reality, we only have four scholarship spots available. So that'll be fun. All right, let us advance to the draft. Good thing I checked because I completely forgot about Philip. No, I guess it's not a certainty that we get him since Michigan's only like 500 points behind. So I think I'll keep the QB back up, but with a question mark, depending on how quick, how much money Michigan throws at the dining table. Hi, Bryson Cook went fourth. Cameron McWilliams. Gee, I wonder who beat him. So Bryson Cook goes round one, pick four. Parker Williamson, round two, pick 19. Here is your Ring of Honor inductees. Bryson at Fresno State. Let me get while I'm thinking about it, let me add my Ring of Honor seniors. Just so I don't forget. I think even though he played for a year, oh whoops, I clicked the wrong year. There we are. I think even though he played for a year, Rylan Newman gets added to the Ring of Honor. Like he put together the best QB performance. Get him on there. Running back, we didn't have anyone. Wide receiver, I don't think Edward Boyle gets it. Offensive line, I think I am gonna put Rocco Walton in the Ring of Honor. Mountain West O line of the year, did really good for 2 years. Defensive line, definitely Parker Williamson added to the Ring of Honor, as well as Luke Butler. I think definitely added to the Ring of Honor. And then linebacker Bryson. Okay, he was already added by the AI. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Transfer portal. Hello. So we have four scholarship spots. First things first, let's do this as simply as humanly possible. Anyone have 100 interest in us? Yes, Joel Hooks, offensive lineman, who I'm going to be honest, the 90 strength is nice. 74 run block will be less. So, Ruben, you're receiving back. All right, let's look at running backs first, since that's probably our most pressing need. I prefer to power back, but I'm not wedded to that. I think Carson would be okay, but man, why must Grimes' ball security be terrible? He has 94 strength. I like Ivan Calhoun. The 73 speed, 73 strength is a little much. I'll add him to the list though. Let me do the classic points ahead initial interest. Yeah, Calhoun. I don't need another receiving back. Normally, I'd be all over the receiving backs, but we have one. Javier, but no, 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 no. Do power backs just not exist? Is the new rage just receiving backs? Is that what I'm discovering here today? Ruben Carson also wouldn't be the end of the world, but he's a Florida kid, and so he doesn't really care about proximity to home. Let's look overall. Yeah, Calhoun's gonna be. Yeah, I think it's Calhoun or it's Carson, and on balance, I'd take Calhoun. I think. Power back option. Ooh, Jackson Bowman, though. How far am I behind? 1,400. What's keeping me away from him? Ah, he loves playing time, which I'm not going to get him. All right. All right. We'll go for we'll go for Calhoun then, the red shirt freshman. Him and Panky are on the same timeline. I'm okay with that. Let me now look at safeties and corners. This is going to be a tough one to get interest because the guys that care about playing time aren't going to want to come to me. So I may instead have to scrape kind of the bottom of the barrel. Let me actually look at just high potential, like backup safeties. How far behind am I? I'm the top guy? 20. Okay, yeah. Eric Barker. I mean, let's be honest here. He's bad. There's no way around that. What about Jalen Hood? Oh, no, I'm too far behind. I mean, Barker, if his zone coverage explodes, he can be good. But his tackling was 64 is really bad for a safety. Let me look at high backup corners that I could move to safety. Answer: they do not exist. Javier Good isn't a terrible option. I think let's try him also. I'm very far behind. The interest in me is 27. So that's 5. I need one more. All right. Let's look at QBs. If we do want to back up QB, I don't think I do though. I think Campbell is our starter, and then we just kind of roll the dice. Bringing in someone like Amari Mayfield just to be our backup for a year isn't a terrible idea in case Campbell gets hurt. Because right now, well, no, I guess if Campbell gets hurt, then we rip the red shirt off of Phillip and give him a couple games. Yeah, I think that's the answer here. All right. Then in that case, think we will not look for a backup QB and instead give me just a really good potential guy that wants to come play for me. I mean, the guys that want to be a star are not going to have a great time here. Can I sort by potential? Yes. So, well, hello. I take you didn't. Yeah, he redshirted Arizona. I mean, no, I already have enough. Oh, that was almost tempting. Yeah, a lot of QBs that just no one really wants. Floyd Potter wouldn't be bad. His strength, tackling, block shed are all low 70s. He's going to get a couple more hits of development before he plays that much. I'll go after him. It does make my D line depth a little bloated, but I think that is a small price to pay. So, in terms of priority, even though he's a recruit, Philip Cato is still at the top. And then I think Calhoun, then Javier, then Barker, then Andrew, then Potter. So, like I said at the beginning, we don't have that many top needs. outside of running back. At this point, it's just about getting the best depth humanly possible. Because the way, and I don't know if it's updated, it has. Yeah, looking at our team breakdown, the year we need a huge recruiting class is next year because we're going to have a lot of graduating seniors, and then the next senior group isn't as big. So we have time for a redshirt year. But next year needs to be a pretty big recruiting class just to replenish that depth. But I like this list. I also like Javier Good. I'm talking myself more into him. All right, let's do NIL. 920,000 for Mr. Calhoun. Javier. Let's do 500,000 since I'm a little behind on him. Eric Barker, same idea, 300,000. And then Troy Potter. Let's call it 250. That's NIL. I mean, we have 6.5 million in NIL that's untouched. I'm almost tempted to offer money to Philip. Like, if I offer him 1 million, what's that get me? Nothing. 50 points. He doesn't care about money. All right, I think that's the money I'll spend for now. All right, where are we at? Hey, all right, we're behind on FAU for Javier, and they have not offered money yet, which is fine. I think in that case, we can just get the best pitches that I can give. All right, looks like we're doing pretty good with Calhoun. So for Javier, I'm just going to up the money above his market value. Offer him 800,000, which I think, it's not nothing. All right, Michigan, they've not offered more money. They offered him 4.5 million, but that was during the recruiting cycle. I don't really want to offer money to Troy Potter. If I don't get him, I don't get him. Eric Barker, I think would be nice, but I don't need to offer money. And then Calhoun. Calhoun, actually, I will offer market value just on the off chance, like Wyoming or Colorado State puts quite a lot of money down at the table. I'm a little worried I don't get Javier. That's up it to 900,000. Because we have the money. It's just a question of, do I want to spend it on Javier or do I just want to roll it into next year and do something with that? Jeez. Okay. All right. They offered money. They offered 565K. And Nebraska got close on Potter. Everything else is fine. Ooh, did Wyoming offer money for Calhoun? Yes. All right, about the same as me. Okay. So I think I'm confident that I'll get everyone, with the exception of Javier. Think we're okay. I'm going to offer a touch more money to Potter. That way, Nebraska would have to offer more money to catch me. I think we're fine on Calhoun, but just to make the numbers pretty, let's get an extra 7 points. Um, yeah, I mean, the question now really is, do I just want to offer 1 million to Javier? I think the good thing about Javier is I could put him at safety and be fine. I can put him at corner and be fine. There's more opportunity to play at corner because, fourth safety doesn't really play all that much. I'd rather give that spot to Barker. I don't really think I want to up it to 1 million, but I don't think I get him if I don't. So I am actually going to offer. So that gets me 624. So that means FAU would have to have like a 480 pit. And their interest in FAU isn't great. They've already spent a little bit more money. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't want to pay anything than 1.15 million for a guy who's either going to be a first safety off the bench or a depth corner. I think that's enough. So, all right, that's what we're doing. I mean, we're definitely going to get Barker. Odds are we get Calhoun. Odds are we get Potter. I think Javier is the question. So let us advance. See how we did. All right, we will start with Philip Cato, who we knew we were getting. Michigan offered even more money. They offered 5 million and didn't get him. I did not offer a single cent, by the way. But he's a solid QB prospect. I mean, let's be frank, he's not the best we've ever seen. His potential is a B, which is kind of on the cut line for me in QBs. However, he is a 5-star prospect, third best QB recruit, top 30 recruit overall. I mean, if his speed and ball carrier vision get a nice boost, that'll be cool, but he's already a well-rounded passer, so get him in the building. Ivan Calhoun, we secure. Yeah, Wyoming took their feet off the gas. I mean, he's going to be probably our number 2 running back. I would say he's a power back, and that is just what we need. Hopefully his speed or strength get a decent development boost. He did play a little bit at OSU, so I hope that'll help his development. Get him in the building. Javier, this is the big one. We do get him by 133 points. Wow. I guess FAU just ran out of money. I mean, look, he's going to be either a zone specialist corner or a backup safety that gets in on occasion. I think either one is fine. And him and Zaragoza can kind of balance out that starting corner group. Eric Barker, we get. Wyoming did offer a decent amount of money, to be fair, but they don't get him. So Barker's going to be a depth safety. No real issues all around. He never made the field at UNLV, which is a little scary, but it's fine. And then Andrew Tiu, we knew we're getting. It was never really close with anyone. He is just your jack of all trades, master of none linebacking recruit with A+ potential, which is pretty cool. And then finally, Troy Potter, who goes to us over in Nebraska. We didn't need to offer the extra 100,000, but that is what it is. I mean, at this point, it's medium reward, low risk get. On a guy that he's okay. Strength, tackle, block shedding is A+ potential. Could be worse. So we get all 6 players that we want. Obviously, the big gets are Cato and Calhoun. The rest, I think, will be solid depth. In terms of our recruiting rankings, we are 33 on account of we only had 8 3-stars. However, we had 2 5-stars. I'm just saying. For a second, I thought that said Appalachian State got a 5-star. James Madison got a 5-star. Good on you guys getting the JUCO. That's cool. All right, let us advance to the school updates. Everything takes a hit, but our prestige goes up to 8, which is cool. NIL, I think I'm going to go to 14 and figure all this out. So stadium, I'm going all the way up to a 10. Facilities, similarly. College life is still at 12 for now. Marketing can go back up to 6, and academics I'll put the rest into academics to go up to 6, and then the rest of the money, I'll just put it in the facilities. So stadium goes up by 1, facilities and college life holds, marketing academics goes up by 1. I am more than okay with that. Here's the earnings breakdown. We got every single donor goal. We also made 2 million for beating Notre Dame. That'll do. And overall made a lot of good money. I mean that's San Diego State win. If we lose to San Diego State, we miss out on 8.5. We miss out on about 10 million because we wouldn't have gotten these 2 bronze or the diamond, which is crazy. All right, booster updates. We grew prestige in school levels. Does that mean, a diamond donor? Gold donor? I will genuinely settle for silver. And it's bronze. I mean, whatever. Money is money, but man, 5 bronze donors is rough. All right, realignment is disabled in my save. Schedule configuration. Okay. Let's figure this out. So, what outstanding contracts do I have? I have Maryland, Notre Dame, and the Kent State one. Um, does anyone want to do a single away that first game? No. Well, fair enough. Yeah, our school level is such that we're going to lose money playing majority of teams. Honestly, don't hate this scheduling breakdown. Because, I mean, Notre Dame, that's a game we can bring a lot of recruits to. Oklahoma, we can bring a lot of recruits to. I wish San Diego State was at home. But other than that, I mean, I'm fine with whooping on Kent State for a bit week 1. It feels a little rough. Do I want to do Maryland? Or I could play Maryland week 1 instead. Actually, yes. Yes. I want to do that. Because that gives me, at the moment, a top 10 opponent week 1. I'm fine with it being away. Because Notre Dame, Oklahoma being at home is infinitely more valuable than Maryland. Yeah, I'm cool with that. And so that means we still have the Kent State contract to get fulfilled, which that can be next year. And so all in all, we make nothing from this. So I guess 2 million. Though we already paid. Yeah, so really nothing. All right. Mountain West opponents, we got New Mexico, Utah State, Hawaii, Wyoming, San Jose State, Nevada, Boise State, San Diego State, and Nevada. No Air Force. I should edit Air Force to be the rival instead of San Diego State. But they did play us to overtime last year, so I think if we beat them this year, I'll flip them. All right, settings are the settings. I think I'm going to keep the half penalty on for transfers, and we shall now advance to the start of a new year. 2033 begins now. I'm not worried, he says with minimal confidence. I think we'll be okay. Like the other thing giving me confidence for this year is that in the games Christian Campbell played, he played fine, so I'm not that concerned. Okay, position changes. First things first. Zaragoza, we're gonna move him to corner. He is now our fourth. Yeah, so it's gonna be Zaragoza and Javier will fill out the ranks in the corner room. But now, I mean, I have one, two, three, four, five, six corners that are in the mid 70s, A minus or better potential. Just kind of crazy. It also means probably like Knapp or Watkins will want to transfer out, but that is what it is. All right, tight end Ibrahim, my friend, move over to O line. I don't care that he's down to a 75. His ratings are fine. He'll play over Bobby Logan probably. So I think that just has to be done. It does make our tight end room a little shaky. Like if Walking Wilder gets injured or something, we're in deep trouble. But that should be okay. I don't think I want to move anyone else. What's your overall as a wide receiver, buddy? 64. Okay, never mind. What if I move Michael Ivy back to running back at this point? Nah, 73. All right. Yeah, I don't think I want to move anyone else really. Trying to see if I have any other like really big linebackers or small D linemen. The answer appears to be no, except Damien. What's your overall? Nah, he's too bad in coverage. Can't do it. All right. That's the positional stuff. So, off-season games is next. Christian, please don't let me down. Here we go. Everybody hold their breath. I think the two positions we really need gains linebacker, especially that middle group, and QB because I need Christian Campbell to explode. That is my official stance on things. Especially since I'm bringing in three QB recruits, that whole room, if it gets off to a really good development, I'll be a happy man. I see 103. Javion Sellers is already a 95. My God. All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. Quarterback. I mean, no, there's no way to spin it. I was about to spin it by saying his ball carrier vision and ball security went up by 4, so that'll help his running numbers. But come on, I mean, come on. Yeah, all of his passing numbers only went up by 1. His potential got even worse, which I didn't think was possible. Oh, boy. Now I'm really glad we got Philip. Speaking of which, his arm strength went up by 6. Okay, well, his ball carrier vision went down by 2. So suffice to say, him being an option QB is not going to happen. His accuracy went up by 2. His IQ didn't move, which is a bit annoying. Khalil Maloney, though, his potential went from a B to an A minus. Minimal gains in his passing, but he got 6 speed, 8 ball security. Okay. Keith Fields, his arm strength went down, his accuracy went up, and his IQ went up by 2. So I think then Philip is obviously going to redshirt. I kind of want Khalil to redshirt 'cause it looks like he's going to develop into a decent QB. So that means Keith Fields is going to be my backup QB for the season. Obviously in garbage time. If Campbell ever gets injured, then Phillip is going in, but yeah, not great. Running backs. Ooh, okay. Okay. Tucker goes up by 6. Big gains for his speed, his ball carrier vision. Ivan Calhoun, the transfer. Ball security doesn't move, but his speed goes up by 6. I'll take that trade off. I'm fine with it. Moises goes up by 6 also. His ball carrier vision is now 100. His ball security went down by 1. I don't quite understand that, but okay. Samuel Pankey goes up by 4. His ball carrier vision 94. Yeah. 75 ball security. Man. Lane Olson goes up by 3. His ball security doesn't change. Abraham Barrett, his ball security doesn't change. Jude Allen, the recruit. Ooh, okay, we could have something here. His potential went up a level and his ball skills went up by a lot. That's good. Similar with Matt. Okay. I'm happy with this. Happy with the running backs. Wide receivers. Ooh. Jared Wells is going to kill me. All right, so Gio Boyle goes up to a 94. That'll do. McDonald goes up by a lot. His catching is now a 93. Preston Diallo is set for life. Johnny Huber's in the 90s. Jared Wells, I mean, he's still a speed demon. So, yeah, I think then, yeah, I think it's just these 6 straight down. Simple, easy, no notes. Love the +5s all the way around. Adrian Beck went up by 4. He did lose 2 potential levels, but that's okay. Tight end. Oh, Davin. Davin, my boy, goes up by 8. His catching is an 84. His pass block is a 75. Is he playing over Jesus? No, he's not playing over Jesus. But hey, that makes my confidence in the tight ends go up by a lot. Jermaine Pugh, minimal gains, but his potential went up. Okay, I'm happy with this. Wilder 1, Kelly 2, Davin 3. O-line. I really moved Ibrahim to O-line and he dropped like 2 places. Whatever. So Hess goes up by 7, which is awesome. Crowder goes up by 3, which is perfectly fine. Pierce Ray going up by 7 is nice. Sparks, minimal gains. White 3. 5 for Fowler. How did Ibrahim do? 5 strength, 5 run block. Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty good. Philip Ramsey up by 7. Hello, Sailor. Yeah, so I think O-line, I'll figure out the order later, but it's these 7. Logan at 8, I'm a little afraid. Honestly, Philip Ramsey is probably gonna get that 8th spot. Because Logan, I mean, his pass block is a 60. I can't put him out there. And Brian Savage, maybe it's Savage. I'll see. Okay. Not too bad. Kickers. Boston, sweet. Kick power up by 3. Nathan Locke, power goes up by a little bit. Muhammad Langston, solid gains around. Cool. D. Landon just walked into my office and he's like, listen, I'm tired of not playing. Put me in, coach. And his overall goes up by 7. His strength, tackling, block shedding explodes. We have an amazing deal. Ooh, Caleb Hampton. Okay. Okay. Troy Potter, by the way, goes up by 5. He loses a potential, but that ain't bad for the transfer. Okay. Okay. I mean, obviously, there's a big drop off after Eli win, but Kenneth Allison, I mean, he's not bad. Caleb Hampton will get decent reps. Same will Devin Allen. Okay, I'm happy with this. The plus sevens at the top. I mean, Landon exploded, which is awesome to see. Damian Pacheco went up by 5 before he even walked in the room. Linebacker? Ooh, okay. Okay. I mean, the first thing, honestly, that I saw was Lucas Yates only got 3, but whatever. Gunn went up by 6. He has hundreds everywhere. Ricardo Thompson up by 4. 122 pursuit. Cody Sylvester went up by 3. He's looking pretty good. Hugo Patrick also looking solid. Edwin Cole, decent gains. Yeah, so I think linebacker, it's these 5. I'll probably end up putting Patrick ahead of Sylvester. Our depth got pretty good. Finley losing potential is a bit painful. Dorian Little, though, big gain plus 11 to tackling. Okay. Oh, Matthew Burke, I should cut you. Yeah, I should have cut Burke. All right, I can cut him next year. Plus 4 for Andrew Tiu, the recruit. His coverage skill got worse. That's kind of funny. All right, I'm happy with this. I think there's a big drop off after Edwin Cole, but that's okay. Good problem to have. Corner. Well, I had so many guys at 73, 74 overall, and then all of a sudden Jaden Aldridge, the recruit, is like, I'm sorry, can I get in on the fun? Plus 6. Oh, he'll be a great red shirt. Okay. I mean, plus 8 for Sean Cody is insane. His speed's 118. Man coverage is 119. Gavin Wren, 104 zone. Evan Foster. Zone took a hit, but it's still 93. Plus 8 man is awesome. And then Ramon Knapp getting a big boost to speed and man coverage. Javier Good looked like he developed okay. Zaragoza, his coverage ability did not move, but IQ goes up by 7, speed goes up by a little bit. Okay, I mean, that's a pretty good 6 corners. Derek Watkins and Damian Reynolds can be the first 2 guys off the bench. Alden Redshirts. Seth Rashid. Goose egg. 0. His speed went down. Barely any defensive. Yeah. Safeties. Ooh, I mean, Davion obviously is a Greek god. Nicholas Unger goes up by 3. His tackling's now a 97. Jameson Poe, 111 zone coverage. That'll do. And then Eric Barker, the transfer. I mean, pretty good IQ gains. His speed went down, which is whatever. And then David Battle, who's the walk on, which I don't know how we have a walk on. We needed 6 scholarships. We got 6, but okay. I mean, overall, really, the only big issue is that Christian Campbell barely developed. Other than that, you know, I'm happy all around. Let me sort by gain really quick. We had a couple people get 8, decent amount get 7, 6s, and 5s, and then the one goose egg was Seth Rashid. All right, not too shabby. Let's advance. Game plan installed. We have a new defensive coordinator this year in Christian Piai, who I stole from Cal. A decent wage, to be fair, but I mean, that's not going to change what we're doing. I'm not going to go to balanced man. I think we need to stay aggressive with the team we have. So let us advance to the preseason, or rather the spring and summer. But to me, that's when the preseason starts. All right, before I get into this, one thing I did want to do really quick. Kato, yeah, you need to work on your IQ, buddy. Cool. Everything else can be auto. All right, depth charts. So Campbell is our starter. Philip and Khalil are going to redshirt, and then Keith Fields is going to be our backup, quote unquote. But I mean, if there's ever an injury, Philip is coming in. Running back. Redshirt the recruits. And now, short yardage back, I think, is Ivan. Though, I mean, in all honesty, I don't think it is. Like, Tucker's strength is only 2 less. Eh. I think Tucker is 1, Ivan is 2. Right now, Moises is going to be 3, but that is definitely subject to change. Wide receiver, Beck is going to redshirt, and then yeah, what do I do here? I mean, 1, 2, 3 is set. It's just a question of 4 versus 5, and I think even though Jared Wells is a speed demon, Johnny Huber is just overall a better receiver. Then Michael Ivey can be 6. Finch ahead of Xavier. Before I forget, I do want to make Jared Wells the return man. Tight end, this. Very simple. Offensive line. Okay. I only have 3 red shirts. Let's get those in the books. All right. Now, I think pass blocking were not great. Ibrahim, I'm going to be honest, is 5. I need him to be 5 because he has 84 pass blocking. Sparks can be 4, that's fine. Eric White at 6 is fine. Fowler at 7, I can live with. I think the question is who is 8? I think it's Brian Savage. And granted, it's the 8th lineman, so he's not going to play that much, but yeah, I think Savage. He gets me the strength, gets me better pass block. I take a huge hit run blocking, but that's okay. All right, D-line. Yeah, D-line, I think Brock is 1, Emmanuel is 2, Landon 3, Medina 4. Yes. Cherry Chase 5. I mean, Eli Wynn just had a great year last year, and I don't know if I want him being our last D lineman. I think I'll flip those, subject to change. Kenneth Allison can be 7. Yeah, and then the rest just on down. I have a bad feeling that Caleb Hampton or Devin Allen might want to transfer, but we'll see. Linebacker. Okay, so this is the one that gets a little juicy. First, I have a couple red shirts. Now, okay, so I think now becomes a question of what do I want to value in terms of coverage? Because after Gunn, Thompson, really my best coverage guy is either Cody Sylvester or Jaden Carpenter. But both of those are the worst of the four linebackers in this group 3 to 6. So, what do I do? I mean, Lucas Yates also is no slouch. 88 block shed, 81 tackle. Oh, let me think. I think Hugo Patrick is 3. The tackling is a little shaky, but I get 98 block shed, 89 strength. Yeah. And then do I want Sylvester at 4? Do I want Cole? I think for now I'm going to go Cole and take a little bit of hit on the coverage. And then Sylvester Carpenter can be my coverage guys on the back end. Lucas Yates, first linebacker off the bench, and Finley behind him. Corner. All right. So my fear with corner is that a lot of these guys are going to want to transfer when they don't play a lot. But that's just the nature of the beast right now. I will take Cody 1, Ren 2, Foster 3 is what I want. Now things get a bit weird. I think Damian Reynolds isn't going to play again. He should want to transfer. I don't know if he will. Um, I think I'm okay enough in man coverage where I don't need to move Javier or Julio up. And at that point, I think I would take Ramon. Yeah. Julio's going to want to transfer. Yes. What did I pay him? I paid him 900,000 and he's going to be my sixth corner. Actually, do I want to play with 6 corners instead of 5? Hmm. I'm gonna try it out and see what happens. And then safety is this. I mean, Jameson Poe is just so great in coverage now. I think I'm okay with it. We're gonna drop down to 3 safeties again. All right, kicker is Boston, punter is Boston, return specialist as well. So that's my group. Really, areas of concern, I don't have much. Like, even though our corner group, it looks like a big drop off. I think Ramon, Julio, and Javier are fine. If if Campbell gets injured, we're really doomed in terms of QB. I think our linebacker group, I like some of the depth in the back end, but we're really top heavy. Aside from that, no real notes. Looks like Jaden Carpenter is going to play after I brought him from UMass, which is cool. All right, so here's our team breakdown. Less than 20% of our total guys are seniors. We only have 17 seniors this year. However, 44% of our starters are that. So I think the year to recruit is probably going to be this year. I did bring in a pretty big freshman class, but a lot of that is red shirts. So they'll come in when these guys are seniors, red shirt, boom. Yeah, I think that's okay. All right, needs for recruiting. Definitely not QB. I got some solid backups there in terms of recruits. Wide receiver. Oh no, this is running back. I'm looking at running back. No, I think the year to recruit running backs hard is going to be next year. Wide receiver. So here's my fear with the wide receiver group is after this year I'm losing Geo. After next year I'm losing McDonald and Huber. But by that point, and Ivy, I guess. After that point, Preston Diallo, Jared Wells will be really good. Adrian Beck behind him is solid. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put wide receiver down. I don't think it's a really a top need. Honestly, probably after the next 2 years I'll go transfer. I will recruit tight end just because I mean Jermaine Pugh is a redshirt freshman that's not gonna play and he wants to be a star, which means he'll probably threaten to transfer. Offensive line. How many seniors do I got? Hess, Crowder, Savage. Juniors, Ray, Sparks, Ibrahim. Yeah, I mean, always recruit O line. Doesn't matter how much you have. Doesn't matter how good your depth looks, starters look. Always bring him in. I feel bad for Wesley Dawson. He just never gonna play. Kicker, we don't need to recruit kicker for probably as long as we're at Fresno State still, because Nathan Locke's gonna be our kicker for 4 years after this year. We're good. Um, Defensive line, I think, is definitely recruit. I mean, I'm losing Wynn, Landon, and Brock after this year. 3 more guys after next. Definitely. Linebacker, similar idea, I think. Yeah, I would add linebacker to that as well. Though I could see I mean, I'm losing my top 3 guys. So linebacker will probably also be a transfer get as well. Corner. I don't think this year. I think maybe next. Though I am a little afraid. Actually, hold on. Let's assume. So we're losing these 3 to graduation. Julio will probably transfer out of here. That leaves me with Ramon, Javier, Watkins, Reynolds, Aldridge. Seth Rashid probably wants it. Nah, I'm fine. Uh, yeah, I'll recruit a safety. Just because currently I have a walk on and a dream. However, before we do that, recommended targets. Anybody good? Ooh, 5-star JUCO linebacker. You don't say. I'm gonna scout him fully just because. I mean, he's really good. Do I really want to like? So it's 87 over. I mean, yeah, he'd play. Who am I kidding? I mean, he instantly fixes our. Yeah, get him in. All right, what are the others? Mike Hunt. I don't think that's worth the fight. Adam Webb, we don't need. No, he's too bad at man. Durham, we don't need. Emmanuel Preston at D line. That couldn't hurt. Let's get him in the building. Ricardo McLeod. I mean, he looks like a pretty good wide receiver, but I mean, he's from Fresno. I have to go for it. Come on. Come on. He's from Fresno. A lot of wide receivers. I'll go for the D lineman. Leonel Martins. I mean, he looks good, but I have other priorities. Jake Finch. Yep. Looks like that is the. Ooh, Randy Fisher could be good. Let's add him. Salvador Lane could be solid. Kyle Sweet looks okay. I don't really want to fight Bama for an O lineman that doesn't look all that great. Surprisingly, that doesn't really fit what I want to do. And the problem I'm going to run into is that a lot of these guys will want to be stars and just they're not going to get that here. Moan Taylor ain't bad. But I have a lot of depth running backs already. Kenneth Soto I'll add because he can play corner and safety. I'll add Whitfield. All right, so that's 10 recruits, wide receiver, tight end. We've hit no alignment yet. D line, linebacker. Okay, so now let's look at O line. Interests, we're only looking at 3 stars or higher. Scout. Oh boy. Yeah, it doesn't look like a lot of the great O line guys are all that interested. Trent Hopkins ain't bad. I don't hate that. Let's do some Long Beach. All right, well, I'm going to send all these guys to camp just to get the most points out of them. And obviously, Hopkins will not. All right, let's just start filling out. I'm out of scout points, right? All right. Let me look at just high potential guys that would be kind of interested in coming here. Kai Marshall, Speed Demon can't catch, no. Gage Ramsey, Zone Guy, no. Kenny might be worth it. Gabriel Spence, 91 evasion, 70 catching. That could be interesting. Get him in the building. Couple JUCO players. Muldrow ain't bad as a JUCO guy. I'd probably redshirt him anyway. Yeah. Damon Taylor is interesting. For the heck of it, I'll add him to the list. QBs that want to be stars. I got bad news. Yeah, Bowen looks good, but what the heck. All right, so that's 16. Let me drop this to a B. California kids. Man, I saw that 81 pursuit, got excited. The tackling is D, block sheds D plus. Nah. Nah. All right, yeah. So I think this will be my starting sort of list of recruits. And I think something I need to do to improve the recruiting rankings is just get more 3 stars in the building. So let me actually. Yeah, a lot of these guys, I don't know their potential yet, but I will add them all the same just so I can see if they're any good. And I got the space on my target list. I got the pitches to spare, so we're good. Did I just give a 500-point pitch to someone with like a 58 overall? Yes. All right. Okay, I will advance, and I think that is where I will end it. I will do the rest of the recruiting off stream, get everything organized. And then next video, we will start the season going up against Maryland. A rematch from last year when they obviously beat us. I think that'll be exciting. We'll face off against Notre Dame again next video, and then probably wrap around the Nevada game. So a lot of big games ahead. I think I like how the home and away splits are set up. So I think the big question for us is how do we do? Last year we made the playoffs as the sixth seed, won 4 games in a row, and took home the trophy. What's the expectation this season? How's our team looking? I think that'll be a really, really big question for us. And also, quietly, our contract is done after this season. So if we want to leave Fresno State after 6 years, we will be able to do so. We could hit, the open market, see what schools are interested in us. Obviously, it was very disappointing that after we won the national championship game, the best team interested in us was like Oklahoma. So that was it. So we'll see. This season could be our last at Fresno State. I think had we not won the national championship with them last year, I may have jumped ship. But we did, in fact, remain. We'll see what happens. But thank you all for watching, especially those of you on YouTube that watched the previous episode. It did really well views-wise since it was released. But just a reminder, if you can't catch the stream live on Twitch, the VOD is available both on Twitch and on YouTube channel of the same name, Turnover Carbon. Very excited to see how we get into the 2033 season coming off a national championship run. We'll see how we do. But thank you all for watching. See you next time.